Have you ever noticed a quiet turning inside you? Something subtle, almost imperceptible, yet impossible to ignore. It feels like a soft current beginning to move beneath your everyday thoughts. A quiet shift in how life touches you. Nothing outward seems different, yet somewhere deep within, the texture of experience begins to change. Most people rush past these moments without recognizing what's taking place. But when your frequency begins to rise, reality doesn't immediately look different. It feels different first. And that gentle transformation, faint as it might seem, is often the very first whisper that you're stepping into a higher rhythm of being. In this exploration, we'll uncover 5 clear signs that your vibration is expanding into higher frequency. These aren't wishful affirmations or mystical slogans. They're grounded, observable shifts, physical, emotional, and perceptual, showing that your inner resonance is reorganizing in ways both ancient wisdom and modern science are only starting to understand. Everything you perceive exists within a field of possibility, a quantum fabric that responds to the tone of your attention and the feeling you bring to each moment. As your vibration rises, that field begins to answer you in ways that can feel almost miraculous. Relationships transform. Synchronicities multiply. Your nervous system slowly rewrites its own patterns around a new baseline of coherence. Yet, because most of us were taught to measure progress only through external success, we often overlook these quiet, inner milestones, signs that prove we are already expanding into a new timeline. Today, you'll learn how to recognize these subtle markers in yourself. When you understand what higher vibration truly looks and feels like, the self-doubt begins to dissolve. You start trusting the process, even while your outer life is still catching up to your inner evolution. And here's something worth reflecting on before we move forward. A high vibration doesn't mean living in endless bliss. It's the art of becoming sensitive to finer states of energy, noticing when your field is harmonious, when your nervous system is calm, when your awareness stretches beyond the limits that once confined you. These moments are often quiet, almost ordinary, yet they carry a crystalline clarity that whispers you are changing. As you listen, notice what resonates. You might instantly recognize 1 or 2 of these signs. You might realize you've been evolving for some time without having the language for it. Or perhaps this will be your first glimpse of what's possible when you begin to embody a higher frequency of being. By the end of this journey, you'll understand exactly how it feels when your vibration steadies at a level where life itself mirrors your most authentic state back to you. And if you've ever wondered whether the shifts you sense are real or simply imagination, you'll finally see the evidence that you are not just thinking differently. You are becoming a new version of yourself. Stay with me. The signs you've been searching for may already be here, waiting for your awareness to bring them fully into focus. Before we explore the 5 signs in depth, it helps to understand why these shifts occur. Because when you know the science beneath the experience, you begin to trust it. You stop dismissing those sensations as coincidence or wishful thinking, and instead recognize them as the mechanics of consciousness itself. In quantum physics, there's a principle known as the observer effect, the discovery that the very act of observing changes what is observed. On a subatomic scale, particles exist as waves of potential until they are measured. The moment they are observed, the wave collapses into one tangible reality. This is how existence itself takes form, from the interplay between awareness and energy. You are not a passive spectator in life's unfolding. You are the observer, whose focus crystallizes possibility into matter through the frequency you emit. And that observation is far more than your conscious thoughts. It includes your deep-seated beliefs, the emotions you habitually broadcast, and the electromagnetic rhythm pulsing from your heart and brain. When you raise your vibration, you're not just thinking positive. You're reorganizing your entire system, your neurobiology, your emotional circuitry, your energetic signature, to broadcast a coherent signal into the quantum field. Your heart generates a measurable electromagnetic field that extends several feet beyond your body. Research shows that when you experience emotions such as appreciation, compassion, or genuine peace, this field becomes stronger, more ordered, more radiant. Your brain waves also shift, falling into smoother, more harmonious patterns. Scientists call this coherence, the foundation of higher frequency living. Why does this matter? Because coherence is what the field listens to. When your heart, brain, and nervous system are in harmony, the signal you send into reality becomes clear and stable. In that state, you naturally perceive more than before. Synchronicities, intuitive nudges, subtle shifts in the energy of people and places. It's not fantasy. It's sensitivity born from alignment. This coherence explains why people vibrating at higher frequencies often experience physical and emotional changes they can't easily explain. From a biological view, elevated emotional states trigger the release of supportive chemicals. Oxytocin rises, cortisol falls. Your body exits survival mode and moves into regeneration. Over time, that changes not only how you feel but how your physiology operates. When you dwell in low-frequency emotions like fear, resentment, or chronic stress, your nervous system adapts to tension. Your brain learns to anticipate threat, your immune response becomes erratic, and your perception narrows around self-protection. But as you begin cultivating higher states of emotion, the opposite unfolds. Your system learns to relax, your mind opens to creativity, your body repairs itself, and the electromagnetic field around you reflects that inner harmony outward. From the quantum perspective, this is profound. If you are the observer, and your vibration is the filter through which possibilities collapse into form, then learning to maintain elevated frequency becomes one of the most essential skills of conscious creation. It changes everything. How you see yourself, how you meet challenges, and what experiences become available to you. As your energy begins to rise, you may not see immediate changes in the outer world. The first transformations are almost always internal, subtle, sensory, and emotional. It begins with a soft coherence between your heart and your mind, a rhythm that starts to sync. You notice moments of stillness within motion, calm within chaos, and that is the first true indicator that your vibration is stabilizing into higher frequency. When your inner and outer worlds stop feeling like separate realities, when thought, emotion, and action begin to move as one harmonious current. You enter what scientists call a flow state, and what mystics describe as alignment with the self. It's that space where inspiration flows effortlessly, where intuition speaks without resistance, where life seems to move through you rather than against you. In this state, you're not fighting your experiences anymore. You're allowing. You respond instead of react, and in that allowing, your vibration amplifies. The first sign that your frequency is rising is a growing sensitivity to energy, your own and others. You begin to feel everything more deeply: music, nature, silence, even the subtleties of another person's mood. This isn't weakness, it's the nervous system recalibrating to perceive reality beyond surface impressions. At first, this can be disorienting. Crowded spaces may feel overwhelming. Certain conversations might drain you unexpectedly. Foods, media, and environments that once seemed normal may suddenly feel heavy or agitating. It's as if your entire being has become a finely tuned instrument, and now anything out of tune is immediately noticeable. If this resonates, don't resist it. Honor it. You're learning the language of vibration. This sensitivity is your new guidance system, teaching you in real time what nourishes your frequency and what dims it. As your awareness heightens, you'll find yourself naturally drawn toward peace, authenticity, and resonance, and gently repelled from anything chaotic, manipulative, or false. Many confuse this stage with emotional instability, but what's truly happening is expansion. You're feeling more because you are more present, more conscious, more connected to the subtler layers of existence. This is also where compassion begins to deepen, because once you sense the energetic patterns beneath people's actions, judgment starts to fade. You no longer see others merely as personalities, but as consciousness navigating its own frequencies of healing and awakening. Just like you, the second sign is the quiet unraveling of old patterns, emotional loops that used to repeat endlessly without resolution. You might notice memories resurfacing, sometimes accompanied by unexpected waves of emotion. Rather than being a regression, this is actually your system releasing what it once suppressed. As your vibration rises, the body and mind can no longer sustain incoherent energy. Unresolved emotions come forward not to haunt you, but to be seen finally, fully, and without resistance. It's your consciousness cleansing itself. This is why many people experience periods of fatigue, random sadness, or heightened sensitivity as they ascend in frequency. It's the emotional equivalent of detox. Your energy field is clearing, recalibrating, reorganizing to support a higher level of coherence. During this phase, your best approach is surrender. Don't analyze every emotion. Don't label it as good or bad. Instead, allow it to move through you like a wave returning to the ocean. The more you surrender, the faster the wave dissolves and the lighter, freer, and more open you begin to feel. This emotional release is not a punishment. It's grace. It's your inner light expanding, gently burning away the shadows that once defined your limits. In ancient spiritual traditions, this phase is known as purification, and in modern psychology, it parallels emotional integration. Different words, same truth. You are shedding everything that cannot travel with you into higher frequency. And soon after this release, something extraordinary begins to happen. A new sense of inner stability emerges, not because life is suddenly easy, but because your center no longer depends on what's happening outside of you. You start to experience peace as your natural state, not a temporary mood. That is the essence of vibrational mastery, to remain steady, luminous, and aware regardless of what appears before you. When your vibration rises and the emotional body begins to clear, you'll notice that your sense of time starts to change. What once felt linear, past, present, future, begins to feel more fluid, like a living tapestry rather than a straight line. Moments stretch, merge, or dissolve into each other. Sometimes hours pass like minutes, and at other times a single breath feels infinite. This isn't imagination. It's the perception of consciousness expanding beyond the mind's mechanical clock. In higher frequency states, your awareness anchors more deeply in the present moment, the only place where energy truly flows freely. You may find yourself losing track of time when immersed in creativity, meditation, or meaningful connection. Days begin to feel less like rigid schedules and more like waves you ride intuitively. The mind stops chasing what's next and instead starts to listen to what's here. This can bring both serenity and challenge. At first, you might worry you're becoming unproductive, but what's actually happening is that you're detaching from the illusion that worth is measured by constant doing. You begin sensing that every action has its perfect timing, its divine rhythm, and when you honor that rhythm, everything unfolds with surprising ease. You'll notice synchronicities appearing more frequently, a friend calling the moment you think of them, a book falling open to the exact message you needed, a sequence of numbers showing up like gentle confirmations that you're aligned. This isn't coincidence. It's coherence. When your vibration harmonizes with the field, reality responds as a mirror of your inner timing. You stop forcing outcomes and start dancing with them. This is also when you begin to trust the invisible hand guiding your journey. You start realizing that life is not happening to you, but through you. That every delay, every shift, every unexpected turn has a sacred rhythm. And that rhythm becomes more noticeable the quieter you become inside. In this awareness, presence deepens. You no longer live from memory or anticipation. You live from direct connection with now. And in that now, time bends, not as a mystical trick, but as a natural consequence of expanded consciousness. The fourth sign of rising vibration is the awakening of intuition, your inner navigation system aligning with a larger field of intelligence. You start to know things before they happen. You sense energy shifts before words are spoken. You meet the right people, find the right path, or make the right decision without logical explanation. This intuitive clarity isn't random. It's the byproduct of coherence. When the mind quiets and the heart opens, the signal from your higher self comes through unobstructed. You begin to distinguish between fear-based impulses and true intuitive guidance. Intuition often speaks softly, a whisper, a feeling, a nudge that defies reason, yet feels utterly right. At first it may seem subtle, even uncertain, but the more you follow it, the stronger and more precise it becomes. Eventually you stop questioning whether it's real, because you see the evidence everywhere. Doors opening at the perfect moment, people showing up who reflect exactly what you've been focusing on, and circumstances aligning as if the universe is conspiring in your favor. Synchronicities become your new language of communication with the field. They're not coincidences, they're confirmations. They let you know your vibration is in resonance with the path that serves your highest growth. At this point, your life starts to feel guided rather than controlled. The anxiety of uncertainty begins to fade. You realize that not knowing the how is part of the beauty of creation, that your role is not to micromanage reality, but to stay in harmony with your frequency so that reality can meet you halfway. In the past, you may have tried to manifest by force, by pushing, affirming, striving. Now you manifest by alignment. You think less, feel more, and trust deeply. The universe begins to meet you with a precision that feels both mystical and completely natural. This is what happens when the conscious and the quantum start to cooperate. The field reflects your vibration, not your words. And when your energy becomes clear, the world arranges itself accordingly. It's no longer about attracting things, it's about matching them. You don't chase frequencies, you embody them. And from that embodiment, life effortlessly responds. As intuition becomes your compass and synchronicity your language, a quiet recognition dawns. The realization that everything you experience is woven from the same living essence. The walls separating you from life begin to dissolve, and what remains is the simplest, most profound truth of all. Everything is connected. The fifth and most powerful sign that your vibration has risen is the spontaneous birth of unconditional love, not as an emotion, but as a state of being. You begin to feel a deep compassion for all forms of life, even those that once triggered pain or judgment. You see yourself in everyone and everything, in the laughter of a child, the eyes of a stranger, the whisper of wind through trees, the silence between words. This isn't poetic sentimentality. It's a direct experience of reality as energy, one consciousness expressing itself in infinite forms. The boundaries between self and other start to blur. You no longer love because of something. You love as something, as the awareness witnessing itself through all beings. At this stage, forgiveness becomes effortless. You stop carrying the weight of resentment because you see that every experience, and even the painful ones, was designed to bring you into this expanded awareness. You recognize that the people who challenged you most were often the ones helping you awaken to your strength, compassion, and clarity. From this space, love isn't something you give or receive. It's what you are, and that love naturally radiates outward, altering the very fabric of your surroundings. Animals respond differently to you. Strangers soften around you. Even plants and elements seem to mirror the peace you carry. Your electromagnetic field, coherent, luminous, steady, becomes a silent blessing to everything it touches. This is the state mystics describe as oneness, and quantum physicists might call unified field resonance. Different language, same truth. When your vibration rises high enough, separation dissolves, and you begin to perceive life through the eyes of consciousness itself. In this awareness, gratitude becomes your default emotion. Every breath feels sacred. Every moment, even the simple, the ordinary, glows with quiet significance. You no longer seek meaning in grand achievements or external validation. Meaning reveals itself in being. You start realizing that enlightenment isn't about escaping the human experience. It's about inhabiting it fully, feeling, sensing, loving, creating, while knowing that beneath it all, you are the infinite presence experiencing itself. When these 5 signs begin to appear together, your life shifts in irreversible ways. You become more intuitive yet more grounded, more sensitive yet more resilient, more compassionate yet more empowered. You stop chasing external change because you finally understand the outer world is only a reflection of the inner one. And by tending to your inner vibration, your thoughts, emotions, and energy, you reshape reality from its source. This is where spirituality and science meet. The understanding that consciousness is not an abstract ideal, but a measurable living field that responds to coherence, love, and presence. Your energy doesn't just influence your life, it is your life. So when you feel old patterns resurfacing, when challenges arise or your light flickers for a moment, remember this: the process of expansion is not linear. It spirals, sometimes inward, sometimes outward, always bringing you closer to the truth of who you are. You are not falling behind. You are refining your frequency. Each wave of emotion, each lesson, each pause in the unknown is life tuning your instrument to sing in harmony with the cosmos. And in that harmony, the need to ascend disappears because you realize you were never separate from the higher vibration. You are simply remembering what you already are. So, if you've been sensing these shifts, if your emotions feel deeper, your intuition stronger, your peace more effortless, trust that you are aligning with the natural evolution of consciousness itself. You are not imagining it. You are embodying it. There is nothing you need to force, fix, or chase. The rising of your vibration is not something you do. It's something you allow. And the more you allow, the more the universe reveals itself through you, clearer, brighter, more alive than ever before, because ultimately, raising your vibration is not about becoming something new. It's about remembering what you've always been, a radiant expression of infinite awareness, a spark of the same light that gives birth to stars. Breathe deeply, feel that truth in your heart, and know you are already home.